Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, we talk about all things witchy, craft related, spiritual, law of attraction, manifesting, all of it. I want to start off by saying today is Tuesday. It's a full moon tonight. Full moon in Capricorn. Exciting. It is a very hot day where I'm at here in the state of Arizona. It is very warm. It's like 113 degrees, I think is the high today. I am hot. I'm in the air right now, but it's very hot. Okay, so first off, I just want to go into the fact that it's a full moon again tonight. I have already done my full moon ritual last night. I'm gonna do something special tonight. It's gonna involve doing a reading and some journaling during this full moon, but for the most part, I like to do it the day before or even the day after. I kind of just want to just bask in it, you know, the day of the full moon. I mean, that's fine. Maybe if I belong to a coven or if I had other people I was practicing with, I'd maybe want to do something, you know, more special, the ritual on that night. But no, I did it the night before, and it was a nice time. It was quiet and it was good. But I wanted to talk about building your unique spiritual practice. I have identified as a cottage witch here on one of my videos, still am, but that doesn't mean that's just my spirituality and how I practice it. So for me, it's everything from recognizing the fact that there's going to be a full moon, knowing the moon cycles, the phases of the moon, and not just knowing them and looking like, oh, it's a full moon tonight. Oh, I guess this is going to happen, or maybe I should feel this way, or Mercury's in retrograde, which it is. But instead of just knowing it, you know, observing it, perform a ritual. And rituals sound so vast, but rituals are anything from like just lighting a candle. If it's a scented candle, that's all you have, that's fine. But light a candle. You know, maybe journal your intentions during that moon phase. You know, listening to certain music that takes you to a certain place, that puts you in a certain frame of mind. Having a nice dinner. Knowing that during the full moon, you're going to have a very big dinner. You're going to, or go out to dinner. Celebrate is what I'm saying. Add some whimsy to your life, add a little bit of joy, and you know, these are not doom and gloom and serious times when the full moon comes or the new moon. Take that opportunity and do something fun. You know, make sure you have a date that night, or if you're single, or if you're married, make it a date night if possible. Do something interesting and fun to keep that day from being mundane. But you know you're doing it in celebration of that particular moon phase. And you can tie in the colors that you wear that day, specific jewelry, the scent that you're wearing, like I said, jewelry, so crystals or carrying crystals, all sorts of things you could do to make it special that aren't necessarily what you'll find in books and pagan and witchcraft books. But you can make it special and it can resonate with you. I'm always going to recommend journaling because I think journaling is super important. But yeah, go ahead and do those extra things too. Just so it becomes a ritual of something special that you do. You're marking the calendar, you know, whatever the theme. This is, okay, so I'm just trying to, let me backtrack. So this is full moon in Capricorn. So definitely I would probably, for me, I would book reservations at a maybe more expensive restaurant if possible, or whatever it is for you, because Capricorns, you know, they like their money, and they tend to be Capricorns tend to like the finer things in life. So I would definitely go and have a more do something a little bit more luxurious than what you would normally do. Treat yourself to something luxurious. Go to the salon. Buy an expensive makeup palette. I don't know, you know, whatever you want to do. But you get what I'm saying. You make it special, but you make it your own. I like to mix things up because everything is not so serious when it comes to witchcraft and it comes to paganism. I think sometimes people it can be serious, but it doesn't have to be. Find some joy, some excitement. Okay, the other thing is just paying attention to synchronicity. So part of my spiritual practice and how I've sort of been building it is just being aware of small little things. For instance, where we're staying now, there are rabbits. There are little wild rabbits that run around. And if you just pay attention and you just look, you might get a message, a bird, you know, a bird on your car. I'm just going to give an example. I had been going back and forth about a decision, and I just didn't know the right thing to do. And I basically reached out to Spirit, and I had a conversation with my ancestors. I was just reaching out, you know, cosmically, like, somebody, anybody, come tell me what to do or give me a sign. And I was basically saying, give me a sign, give me a sign. So a bird I've never seen before in this beautiful blue shade. I don't know enough about birds to know what it was. I tried to Google it with just knowing what I know, you know, black and blue bird, but I couldn't figure out what it was. The point is, it stood out. So I'm walking, I'm running an errand. I think I came out the dollar store. So I'm running an errand. I run over to my, you know, I'm done. I go to my car, and the bird's just right there on the roof of the car on the driver's side. So it catches my eye. So I'm standing there like, why is this bird here? What's going on? And it was really nobody in the parking lot or anything else. I mean, a couple cars. It could have landed on another car. It landed on mine. And in that moment, I paused and said, okay, this is a message. And birds, you know, they've been known to deliver messages. Without going into a whole thing, backtracking on what I was asking for and the type of answers I needed, I got my answer. That was the message I needed. I was able to use symbolism and figure out, okay, that I'm on the right path. I should go this way. I should be doing this. So, synchronicity. Yeah, paying attention to the small details. It doesn't mean you spend your entire day, you know, you see an ant and you think it means something. No, it's just an ant. But that discernment will come after a while of when you need to look a little bit more closely, and when maybe you could just know it's just an ant. The other thing is, and I'm looking at my list here, the other thing is recognizing the wheel of the year. For me anyway, for me anyway, I like to observe the different holidays, and I guess pagan holidays. I know most people say Wiccan holidays. That's fine by me. But I enjoy observing them. I enjoy making a nice meal, maybe even doing some decoration, at least to my altar space, wearing certain colors that day, knowing, planning out what I'm going to do that day, and, you know, just the whole, it's the whole ritual of celebrating and planning and all that sort of stuff. I really get into that, and that makes it special as well for me. So I don't necessarily do anything huge, and I don't have a grand production, but I know I'm doing something a little bit more different that day, and that's fun and that's exciting to me. Especially, well, there's the all-time favorite, especially if you're watching this channel, and that's going to be Halloween, which is really Samhain. But we're going to just, come on. We're just going to say Halloween and call it a day. Anywho, yeah, I go all out. That's a fun time for me. I'm doing rituals the day before, the day after, the day of. It's a whole thing. What is one of my other, why am I blanking on what this is called? Oh my God. Yule. Like, what is that? All I'm thinking is Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. See, they got me. I can't let go of that part of my life. No, Yule, which to me is just one big month of excitement, because it's all, I mean, I don't just pick a day. Yes, I do something special for Yule, but It's a whole month thing, and that's really exciting to me. I'm the crazy lady with the Christmas decorations a month in advance, so that's me. The people in the stores right now, if you go into any craft stores, they already have Halloween and Christmas decorations up. I want to make fun of them, but I'm the customer who shops there at this time of year for that stuff. Sorry, we exist. Another way of building your spirituality, or excuse me, your spiritual practice, or that I do, is keeping a book of shadows. Now, I have had more than one because I've used all the paper, and I don't want to use a binder. I'm not going to use a digital one. I don't think anytime soon. I don't think I want to do that. But I do have a book of shadows. I also have journals because I'm a journal addict. But my current book of shadows is basically a sketchbook that I got from Michael's. It's only $5. They're still only $5 at Michael's. And currently they have different colors. So I just have a plain black one. I never bothered to decorate the outside. I kind of like that it's plain and you don't know what it is. And it's just sitting there. You're like, oh, it's nothing. And then open up and I've got all this knowledge, and I've somehow I've used glue and taped other pages on the other pages, so it's getting nice and thick and looks more aged. So I've been using that book for over a year now, and I'm quite excited about that because I always wanted this nice thick book of shadows with all this information, general information in the beginning. I've got the wheel of the year stuff, the different crystals, the colors of the days of the week, and goddesses and gods, and all, general description like you would pick up if you went to Barnes and Noble and looked into a book right now on Wicca or something like that. I've got those basics in the front, but the rest are spells, tarot spreads, and the results, the readings, the results of the spells that I've done, spells I've done for other people, all types of other esoteric knowledge I put in there about alchemy, things that resonate with me, and then I've decorated each page. Pretty much most of the pages I've decorated them. I use different colored pens, so it's pretty cool. No, I will not be showing my book of shadows. I don't think I don't think I would feel comfortable doing that at all. Because it's like showing your journal. Maybe if I want to start a paper craft project where maybe I do like a bullet journal, a witchy bullet journal. So if I do, I'll share that. But yeah, keeping a book of shadows is key for me because it's where it becomes my Bible. It becomes what I can look back and what I can say, okay, so I handled it this way. We've had a death in the family, and I've had to deal with that using my spirituality. We've had major events happen that weren't so pleasant, over the years, job loss, career changes, just heavy stuff that had a serious consequence. And, my spirituality was able to get me through that, well, myself obviously, but I am my spirituality, but I was able to get through it. And part of having that is having a book to sort of go back and look at things that came to me maybe a year before or 2 years before. I'll go back and I can look at that information that I wrote and I recorded, and it can help me now. In the same way that to me, someone who, you look in the Bible and you're seeing this information and you feel like it was divinely written, well, it was divinely written by me. I am divine. Divinity is through me, and I was able to record that information, to not just record it and just have it to say, oh, this is pretty, but to use it. That's actually a very big part of my practice, if I'm being honest, is keeping a record and a log of the synchronicities, the celebrations that I do, my observance of the different moon phases and what comes out of that. And it creates this story for me where things start to make sense, where I'm like, why was, if something happens, good or bad, I can kind of have a log to look back and see what was leading on, what was going on. I might not see it now because you're, emotionally invested. If something, I win the lottery, bam, I'm excited. And I'm like, oh, this just happened. No, it didn't happen. I could maybe look back and see, and I would be the type to look back and see what was leading up? Oh, remember that you kept pulling these cards every time you did a tarot spread. And I'm working with runes now. So, you kept using the same runes, the same combinations kept coming up. Every couple weeks you would pull the same thing up, or, when you had a dream, the same dream kept coming, and you wrote it down in your book. And I would be able to see, oh, I was getting messages the entire time to prepare me for this event, good or bad, The death that I talked about that we had in our family, I was getting messages. I did not interpret it that way. I kept pulling the death card. Now, if you use tarot at all, you understand that the death card typically just represents like major change, a big change in your life. You might need to give up something. You really you need to give it up, but you don't want to. A relationship that maybe isn't so great, but you're comfortable, you don't want to date again, that type of thing. A job you're at that you don't love, but it pays the bills, and you don't feel like having to go to interviews, take time off, and all that sort of stuff. But you're not satisfied there, and there's probably something better. You're just too lazy, to apply yourself and get it. Stuff like that. That's when, at least for me, that's the type of thing where that cards come up and it makes sense. It had never come up to signify there was going to be a true death. Now, we all know that's what it could mean, but I think a lot of us spend so much time saying, oh no, you can't take it at face value, it's no, because you don't want to, you would think someone's dying, every time that card comes up, and then you're in a quest to figure out who's gonna die. Is it me? Is it the person I'm reading for? What if you're reading for yourself? You're freaking out. But I journaled about that, and it kept coming up, and it was coming up in specific readings that weren't necessarily about me, but about my family. So I chose not to interpret it that way at the time, and I looked at my notes on the readings, and I didn't take it that way. But in hindsight, when I look at the dates, there's a pattern, but I'm grateful that I was able to go back and figure that out and then learn. So when things like that happen going forward, I can see the sequence of events that are occurring, and I can be a little bit more prepared, if that's what's meant. The other thing I just want to say, that's kind of the main thing about building your own, I keep hitting this table, sorry if I'm shaking it. The other thing about building your own unique spiritual practice is being consistent. Consistency is key, because that's how you build a practice, by being consistent. That's how it becomes your spirituality. That's how it becomes something you can rely on when times are tough, when you want to celebrate and you want to have a good time. That's what other people do with their religions or their spirituality. It's interlaced in all aspects of their life. The birthdays, the anniversaries, the funerals, the hospital visits to a sick relative. It's all built in, and how they deal with that, how they cope. So your spirituality should also be that way. And that's what I aim for. And the only way to really get there is with consistency. So I am very consistent. I haven't always been consistent. And I've been following this path for, I want to say about 12 years now. I know it's more than a decade, so maybe 11, 12 years. I could be off. Yeah, about 12 years that I've been officially on this path. And of course, in all that time, life happens, things happen, and you don't necessarily realize, oh, I didn't notice. I have no idea. Is it a full moon? I don't even know when it was. I went through that phase. The different wheel of the years, the moments Beltane went by, well, I would never forget Yule. But, things like Halloween would come up, and I would just give out candy to the kids. I wouldn't do anything special, and I would feel very guilty about it, and which would make me think, well, if I'm not practicing and I'm not doing any spell work and I'm not doing any ritual, am I still a witch? That's another topic. Are you still a witch if you're not doing anything witchy? I'd like to say yes, you're just a witch who's not doing anything witchy. But if you still identify that, then you are. But yeah, and along with being consistent, always remember when you, okay, so if you fall out of turn and you realize, hey, I'm not really doing anything, I haven't done anything in a while, you know, you might have a crystal that you keep on you or something like that, but that's about it. You need to remember why you chose this path, or why you feel like the path chose you. What was the whole purpose? Why do you think something about this path resonates with you? You don't have to know the answer. If you just start asking the questions, and you know, to me, I think the universe will show you. If you're having a hard time answering it, the universe will answer for you. And that's where you have to participate and pay attention, and synchronicity and things like that. You know, nothing happens coincidental. Maybe pay a little bit more attention as you go outside, go about the day. If you're reading something, yeah, you're following along with the story, but maybe certain words, the page numbers, things like that. If you notice your eye keeps looking at something, you know, maybe pay attention. Look up what the reference of that number is. Or if you keep seeing a certain word or something like that, you know, pay attention to those little things, because that might be giving you an answer and helping you to get more aligned with why you even started this path in the first place. If you're questioning it, or if you feel like you're not really on a path anymore, you're just kind of there. I've been there before, and I remember that feeling. I know I wasn't done with it, but I didn't feel like I was doing anything, and I didn't feel like I felt like doing anything. But that's just little old me. And lastly, because I identify as a cottage witch, the other parts of my spiritual practice are just in my very mundane tasks. Everything from certain colors I wear that day to affect my mood, to affect the energies, or to bring about a certain energy toward me. My perfumes that I wear, I've enchanted my items. I've charmed them so that they have a certain effect, even on me, for me. When I put that on, you know, something clicks in my head. Jewelry, all that sort of stuff. But my food, when I make dinner, you know, I'm always adding a protective spell. Last night I made rosemary chicken with garlic. Rosemary and garlic, great ingredients to use for protection. So as I add each, I say, and it doesn't have to rhyme. If it does, that's great. I can't tend to rhyme on demand, but I'll add my seasonings, my fresh herbs and things like that. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, if I'm not saying it out loud, I'm at least thinking, you know, protect my family as they eat this food, you know, nothing. And I'm, you know, saying things like, you know, I have nothing but positive intentions. And this food nourishes them, you know, it brings about even more abundance, and, you know, something along those lines. And this is just things I'm saying as I'm seasoning my food. I put it in the oven, and I'm done with the thought. I'm not still, you know, going on and on about it. And then as they eat and they tell me they like it, I take that as a positive sign the spell's working. You know, I'll say something like, you know, as they enjoy this food, may they have even more, you know, joy in their life, or, you know, something along those lines. Just very positive, sweet little things, because it's my family, you know, and I want them to have good things and abundance in their life. So I always put that intention as I cook, especially when I bake. But I hope that the things that I went over are helpful in building your own unique spiritual practice. Of course, you can get into the nitty-gritty, and you can have a lot more detail as far as what you define as your spirituality, and how you, or let me rephrase that, how you practice your spirituality. So that's how I do mine. So thank you, and I hope you got something good out of this, and stay around or check out other videos that I have, and hopefully you'll learn some more. Thanks. Bye-bye.